Yo, yo, yo! What is going on, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love? My name is Jamal Pope, aka J Phoenix, and this is going to be your astrology forecast for
Hump Day.
uh, Wednesday, October 11th, 2023. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. It is Hump Day, and we have an interesting day ahead of us. There's not a whole lot going on exact aspect wise today, but there's definitely going to be a lot of edgy energy as we are continuing to build up to this new moon solar eclipse that'll be happening at 21 degrees of Libra. So let's go ahead and hop into it. Well, we do start off the day, of course, that sun at 17 degrees, 56 minutes. Still in opposition to Chiron. It will come off the opposition today, so that energy will start to let up as the day continues. Now, that was an interesting energy because trying to find the balance and harmony in things, but also acknowledging our wounding and stuff. And when those two energies come opposing each other, especially with the sun that's in fall in Libra, doesn't help that the south node is with the sun as well. So Chiron definitely had the upper hand in this opposition. Now it's just whether or not you took that Chiron and you used it to open the doors in your life that's going to propel you forward in a positive way, or if you're going to use that key to open doors that's going to continue to lead you down the same roads, the same paths, and the same woe is me kind of mentality, right? Where it's like it's about finding your resolve, right? It's about overcoming the challenges and obstacles and realizing that you have the power to do so. So that's the thing about this. It was a pretty gnarly opposition. Like I said, the sun does come off of it, so we will start to see it weaken, but then it's going to come into the new moon. Then it's going to come into opposing the North Node and Eris. So we're not really done with the Libra dramatics right now. Now, of course, we do have this moon here in Virgo, here at 12 degrees. It will trine Jupiter today. So that's a nice little aspect right there. Gives us this nice little harmonizing energy between those two. And, the moon does like to be in Taurus. Jupiter doesn't really care to be in Virgo, to be fair. So it's either in fall or in detriment there. But it doesn't really like to be in Virgo. Much rather be in Pisces. But this brings about a harmony aspect. The moon here in the decan ruled by Saturn. Saturn's here at 0 degrees 59 minutes of Pisces, mind you. And then, of course, you have Jupiter here in the decan that is ruled by, it says Mercury, but I actually would give that to Chiron, since I believe that Chiron is the asteroid, is the celestial body that rules Virgo. So the Chiron energy kind of comes back into play with this trine. Essentially, how we are definitely feeling a little bit more nitpicky now in our lives, especially with Venus having freshly ingressed here. We can feel very nitpicky. We can feel very, kind of almost naggy, wanting things to look a certain way. And, things may start to, the smaller little details, the smaller little things can start to set us off emotionally. The trine over to Jupiter is still here reminding us of our value, reminding us of what we do have, reminding us of the things that we do have grateful to be, that the things that we have grateful. Oh, let me back that up because my words obviously got mixed up. Reminding us of the things that we have to be grateful for. There we go. So it's like, yeah, things may not be going exactly the way that we want. We may be a little bit nitpicky. We may want things to look a certain way, but we have to, acknowledge that we do have things that are working out for us, and that even if things don't necessarily go according to plan, there's always another way. There's always a way to come up with a new plan, to kind of strategize. But this is a harmonizing aspect, reminding us of what to be grateful for, and reminding us that the true growth, the true expansion comes from within. It's not something that's external to you. It's not something that someone's going to do for you. It's going to come from within. Now, the moon doesn't quite get to the trine with the Uranus today. That's going to be more of a tomorrow aspect, but we at least do get this energy. So, and I think that this kind of sets the tone because by this time the sun is at 18 degrees, so it comes off of the opposition to Chiron. So, if we can take this little moment here, 10:32 a.m. So, so it'll be like 10:32, 11:32. So, essentially, once we get to about noon, at least here on the East Coast, so in Europe it's like the middle of your day, right? So once we get to that point, it does kind of set the tone for, the rest of the day, if you will, about whether or not we can acknowledge those things in our life that are working out. And it's also going to bring up matters of whether or not we are, solid in our values, solid in the decisions that we're making, solid in, even our spirituality, our spiritual mission, our spiritual purpose. Because, like I said, this moon is in the decan ruled by Saturn. Saturn's here in that first decan of Pisces. So, Saturn, I would say that these three are probably the most important planets to be paying attention to. I mean, obviously, we have a new moon solar eclipse coming in, and Mars is about to move. But that's the thing about this. We can get so focused on the personal planets, and we're forgetting the fact that part of the reason why things feel so intense right now in the world and why all of our eyes are glued to these things and everyone's forming their opinions on things and picking sides and shit, is because we have Pluto, Saturn, and Neptune in the last 3 signs. And Pluto's going to come back into Aquarius next year. And we actually will have a sun conjunct Pluto there. So that's the thing about this that we're forgetting, is that, like, when it comes to society at large, remember the personal planets, and then you got your transpersonal planet here with Saturn, and then you got the external outer planets, which deal more with society at large. It's all coming to an end. But is it really an end, or is it really going to be renewed? And it's like a transformation. That's where the whole North Node comes into. That's where the whole Chiron comes into. And even the Eris, which is a 500 plus year transit around the sun. It's important to realize that in these times, which do feel like end times, and they by all means and purposes are, it means that it's not necessarily the end of humanity, because I don't think we're going to manifest that route, but it's definitely going to be the end of many cycles, and we're going to be shifting and moving into a new world. There are going to be aspects of that old world that I think we all want to hold on to, that need to be let go of. And that's going to be kind of the difficult thing. I think that's really what's coming down here with the Chiron aspect. The new moon is going to be keying in on that as well. And if you really think about it, we don't really have a lot of fixed energy right now. The only major planets of fixed energy that we have are Uranus and Jupiter, and they're still in retrograde, right? We have no Scorpio, although Mars is about to come there. We have no Aquarius, and we do have a little bit of Leo with Juno and Black Moon. But that's the thing about this. So there's a lot of focus right now on Cardinal, Libra, Aries, of course, Pluto, which has been involved in a lot of major aspects here lately, right? And then, of course, you have like your mutable with Pisces and Virgo. It's definitely an interesting time to navigate. And if you're feeling like you're at the edge of your seat, if you're feeling like you just at the edge and need to make something happen to try and bring some balance in your life, that's Mars at the end of Libra, 29 degrees of Libra. It's going to stay there for the whole of the day, too. So that's the thing about that. I mean, you go all the way to freaking 11:32, and Mars is still at 29:59, while the moon hits 19 degrees of Virgo, right? So by that point, the moon would have quincunx over to Chiron, right? The sun is obviously coming further off of it. Mercury is going to be conjuncting Pallas Athena here in Libra. This is definitely going to bring some edge. That's why I think the trine with the moon and Jupiter is very, very important, albeit it's going to be only for a couple of hours. It is going to be that moment where you really want to just kind of take stock of what is working out, because this Mars at the end of Libra, especially on a hump day, right, especially on a day where the sun is coming off of the Chiron opposition, is going to bring a lot of edge. Not only that, but you have Saturn, which has now moved to 0 degrees of Pisces. There's going to be a lot of edgy energy where people are going to potentially freak out, try and take some sort of action to try and change their life, to try and change their situation, anything to feel better, especially with the moon that's in Virgo, that's going to be very nitpicky, anyways. And like I said, the moon's in the decan ruled by Saturn. Saturn's at 0 degrees of Pisces. So people are going to be feeling like they have to take an action because their life they feel like maybe their life depends on it. It's going to feel that intense, but it's really a time to just take a deep breath and maintain some sense of calm collection through this. I think we're moving into a time where we're all being called to take some sort of actions in our life, right? But we can't be rash about it and we can't be super impulsive about it. We're all being called to, especially those of you who consider yourself light workers, we all are being called to take our positions on the battlefield. But we need to do so in a way that doesn't compromise anyone, that doesn't compromise our position, that doesn't compromise anyone. This is not about trying to do something that you think and position yourself in a place where you think is going to be better, because if you do that, then you may end up getting flanked by the enemy. You may end up compromising your position. You may end up signaling to the enemy and they know that you're there, right? This is about trusting God, God's plan and God's vision for us, kind of letting go and letting God, but being that co-creator. And we forget about that. It's about being the co-creator, right? Not just trying to force our will on the situations, but at the same time, recognizing the power that we do have, recognizing the position that we do have, and utilizing that too, right? That's the thing about this, is that, like, if you, especially if you are a light worker, but I will say anybody, but especially if you are a light worker, you are actually in, believe it or not, the prime position for you to manifest your greatest life, your best self. You're actually in the prime position. I know you may look at your life and you be like, how can that even fucking be? This place is crazy. This place is miserable. This place sucks. I don't have enough money. I'm not in the relationship that I want. I don't have the relationship with my friends or family that I want. It can be any mixture of those things, right? I'll take myself, for example. I'm not in the financial position that I necessarily want to be in. But, I look around and I see all of the abundance that's around me. I also am like, well, I'm still able to pay my bills. I'm still able to take care of things. I'm not a bum. I've never not worked. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, you take stock of those things that are working. Not only that, but I mean, shit, like, I have it better than 99% of the humans that have ever lived. And yeah, I know people like to throw that around and stuff like that, but, you know, like, it could be worse, right? You are in a prime position right now to really set yourself up. It just doesn't look like it. It doesn't look likely. Look, it doesn't look likely. It doesn't look like it. It feels weird. It feels edgy. And I don't blame you for wanting to try and take some sort of crazy action to change. I think we all have that impulse right now. And what it kind of feels like is a volcano that's literally about to erupt. It's literally, that's what it feels like. And if I want to take it even a step further, and this is going to be a little bit gross, but whatever, this is that moment where we just feel like we have to make a change. We have to feel better. We have to get some sort of release, and you fucking masturbate, and then you feel like shit afterwards because it doesn't actually give you what you need. It doesn't actually give you the power that you need. You're doing the deed, whacking off, you masturbate, and at least I know for guys, typically you don't feel great afterwards. I don't know how it is for females, but typically for guys, if you masturbate, you don't really feel great afterwards. You know what I'm saying? It's that post-nut clarity, right? We want to avoid post-nut clarity when it comes to like trying to make some sort of an impulsive decision right now with the Mars at the end of Libra, getting ready to go into Scorpio. And that's a very applicable metaphor too, because especially going into Scorpio, Mars definitely want to release this love, like because Scorpio is sex, right? So there's going to be that element here, right? Where some people are just going to want to release their load all of this tension and all this stuff that's built up and just release that. But do you really want to come that into the universe? Anxiety, anguish, pent up aggression? What do you want to give the universe right now? You know what I'm saying? It's going to be an interesting day. For sure. Definitely an interesting day. I know that's like a weird way of looking at it, but especially with the Mars that's protruding out into Scorpio. Sexual tensions could be high too. You know what I'm saying? So there's that. But I mean, like I said, if you're, and I felt this building up last night too, but I was also very sleepy. But it's like, you gotta, this is the time where people like go on one night stands and then fuck up everything because, you know, there's not really any connection there. It's very surface level, and it's just someone's just trying to get their fucking rocks off. So don't make decisions today that just get your rocks off metaphorically or actually physically. I don't know. You know, it's like it doesn't, or literally, like you could actually try and get your rocks off because you just. This is a day, especially with the moon of Virgo, where you want to just like continue to be the observer because the world's going to start to go batshit crazy. It's already going batshit crazy. We think we have seen the craziest news stories, but we have not seen shit yet. Still got to get to 2024. So I hope that this video helps. I know it's going to be a pretty interesting hump day. Like I said, not a lot of exact aspects happening today, besides that moon trining over to Jupiter. Like I said, it does quincunx over to Chiron. You know, we do have Pallas Athena and Mercury meeting up in Libra too. So, although they're going to really meet more exact at 13 degrees. So, that's more like a tomorrow aspect. And like I said, Mars last full day, at least here in the last full day of Mars being in Libra. And then he gets into Scorpio, where he's going to be feeling a lot more powerful. It's just whether or not, you know, it's just sort of like if like the after effect of a day, whether it feels like a wet paper bag or actually feels like you're creating something. You know what I mean? Are you like using a oh man, is it actually creating something? Whatever this release is once Mars goes into Scorpio, are you actually like going to create something from this release, or are you just coming into a fucking fleshlight and you got to clean it up afterwards, which is gross, and no one likes to do that shit. Might be a good day to figure out another way to release that pent up tension, you know. So I know that's a weird ass example and shit, but it's going into Scorpio. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it for you guys either. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it for you guys because that's just what's coming through, you know. So yeah, let's get into the cards. Let's see what the cards have to say. I'm interested, you know, especially with the channeling like that for the astrology. Like, and you know, I think times like this, they definitely are challenges from the universe. You know, this is a time where we have to, you know, when things get rough, like when things kind of get weird and tough like this, and we kind of want to make some sort of change and whatever, we have to trust, especially if you've made certain decisions in the past that have led you to this point, right? And you probably did so for good reason because you were guided to do so. And even if things don't quite exactly turn out the way that you thought they're going to, are you still going to keep? Are you going to keep that story going? You know what I'm saying? Are you going to lose the plot? This is a day where people may actually lose the plot. You know what I'm saying? So because their trust in themselves, their trust in the universe is not where it could be. We have the Page of Wands in reverse. We got the Page of Wands yesterday, but now he's in reverse. This is going to be followed by The Two of Pentacles. Yeah, I mean, shit, if you want to try and get from one step to another, you know what I'm saying? We have to be pretty aware and conscious of what energy we're putting out there. This is like, this can really feel like, you know, I'm getting this image in my head. I'm getting this image in my head of a mage that's practicing, right? And they're practicing their craft, and it's like almost like they're working with like fire magic, right? They're working with fire magic, and the teacher is pretty much saying that, all right, you need to go from one step to another. So they go through all these different procedures in the class, but there's this one mage that's like full of it, that is super super confident, but it's a little bit arrogant, and it's like, screw it, I'm gonna show you guys how to use these fireballs because my big brother taught me how to do this shit, and I'm gonna show you guys that I don't need to go through these procedures, I don't need to go through the study, and I'm gonna show you how to do this stuff. He gets in front of the class, and it's a dud. It's an absolute dud, and everyone starts to make fun of him, and he probably even burns something down because it's not controlled. That's the thing about this. We don't want to just try and like, we don't want to like overstep ourselves. You know, we don't want to just like, when I look at the Two of Pentacles, I think about hopping from one stone to another across a river, right? That's really what I think of, and taking things one step at a time. This is not a day where we want to just skip stones. Just because we are confident that we have the power to do so, and you do, but you still have to build up to it. Just because we are an infinite spark of the divine and that anything is possible doesn't mean that we still have to condition ourselves. We still have to build up to that energy, right? Yeah, you are a superhero, but that doesn't mean that you have to superhero every moment in your life, right? That doesn't mean that you get to just skip stones, right? So don't skip stones today. Don't skip steps today, because if you do, then that flame is just going to be like pew. It's going to peter out, and it's not really going to give you the sustenance that you are looking for. Bottom of the deck, we do have the Emperor card in reverse. That's what I'm saying. Like, don't try and force what you think is right on this situation. Don't try and force your power. Don't try and force too much what you think is right. And because if you do, it's just going to be like, pew, pew. Like, people are going to be trying to skip steps today. They're going to try and skip steps today because they're like, I have all this power. I have all this. I can show you guys how to do this. And then you try and do the magic trick. And instead of the flame being controlled but voluminous and like obvious and present and bright and warm, but at the same time just resonating in that controlled power, this is like a little, it's like either it's like chaotic, right? Either it's like chaotic and it's unruly, and then someone hair catches on fire and shit like that, burns the drapes that are in front of the window, because I'm thinking of like a magic school, you know what I'm saying, like in a fantasy world or something like that. Or it just like pew, and it just falls to the ground, and then it peters out. Not a day to really be taking some sort of impulsive, crazy action with Mars at the end of Libra, right? Not a day to try and force what we think is right on the situation with the Emperor in reverse and the Page of Wands. Like, literally, the Emperor in reverse and the Page of Wands, that's like the teacher and the student, right? It's almost like like the teacher and the student here are reversed. So it's like we have to try and find that balance with the Two of Pentacles here too. It's like, that's actually interesting too. That actually kind of brings up a new interpretation of this, because both of those are reversed. And I think really what it comes down to is that maybe we just don't trust the guidance of the universe. We don't trust the guidance. And or it could also be this. We can also realize that the emperors in our life, the leaders in our life, the people that we feel are like the elite, the people that we feel like control our life, maybe we realize that they are just as human as us. We realize that we feel like these people may have so much control over our lives, so much control over the great swaths of people of this earth. But the fact that it's reversed too means that they don't even know what the fuck they're doing. They don't even know what's going on. No one knows, no person here that has all the power. It's the biggest lie that's ever been told to humanity. The biggest lie that's ever been told to humanity, that there's someone here that has all the power. God has other plans. Star card in reverse. Yeah. God has other plans. Fate is still in play here. Destiny is still in play here. So at the very least, let that give you solace, because there are going to be some leaders out there that are going to be making some bold actions. It's actually going to have a wet paper bag kind of feel. It's either going to be a wet paper bag, or it's going to be a massive unruly explosion that's going to get a lot of people caught in the crossfire. And you don't want to get caught in that crossfire. You want to take this thing one step at a time and realize that we are all subject to these celestial energies, and that there's no one person that is better or greater than you. And they may say that they are, they may think that they are, but in the eyes of God, we are all divine sparks of the infinite, and we all have unlimited potential. So that is going to do it for your astrology forecast today. I hope that you all enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I definitely appreciate it. If you would like to have a personal reading with me, beloved, you can follow the link in the description below to my website, jphoenix.com. And as always, y'all take care, stay blessed. I will see you guys on the next astrology forecast. Peace.